to Living the Empowered Life channel. My name is Yvonne, and this channel is about bringing you all content empowering, encouraging and inspiring. So on this channel I share book reviews, I share my podcast Living the Empowered Life, I share lots of different things to do with personal development, self-improvement, personal growth. So if this is the type of content you're looking for, please do hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So today guys, I wanted to do a quick sit down video with you because as I was reading my Bible, I was reading from, and I'm going to be looking at my notes here because I have made notes. I was reading from the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 9. And it says, better to be a nobody and yet have a servant than pretend to be somebody and have no food. And I was thinking about this because a lot of the time on social media, a lot of people are bringing the best snapshots of their lives, are bringing false kind of narratives about their lives in hopes of, gaining attention, views, popularity, all that type of stuff. And just on my feed recently on YouTube, I've been seeing videos about, people, influencers, so-called influencers, coming forward and saying the videos that they're posting, the things that they've been doing is not real. They were just doing it, creating content because they wanted the views, they wanted to try and get likes and wanted to get money. And this Proverbs really speaks to that, I think, because a lot of people nowadays want to be somebody. They don't want to live a life that is fitting with how they really do live. A lot of people want to show on social media that they've made it, that validation to show people, look at me, look what I have and stuff. And, it's really interesting to see that all play out. I have a love and hate relationship with social media. At the moment, I'm not really feeling Instagram. Actually, I used to really like TikTok because it was a positive place, but in the last year or so I find that a lot of people, quite a few people are very negative. So I have a love and hate relationship with social media. I use social media because I want to inspire, encourage and empower people. I haven't really been doing that a lot lately on social media, so I'm trying to get back to doing that. I don't try and go on social media to flex. I try and just, go on there to add value to people's lives. But for a lot of people, when they go on social media, this is the type of things that they do, and I know that it's very hard for a lot of people because, they probably feel like at a certain stage in their life, they should have this by now, they should be doing this by now. And one of the key things I think is missing in all of that is a lot of people don't want to put in the consistent hard work that it takes to get to a certain point. I've shared on other videos, being an entrepreneur for the last 7 years, nearly 8 years in May. It's only really now I'm at a point where I can say, that I am kind of on track to where I need to go in the goals that I have for my business, financially, all these different things. I'm still not there yet, but it's been an 8-year journey and it's been very hard and I've had to make sacrifices and there's things that I've had to do. And a lot of people are not hearing that nowadays. I wrote about this in my book, Into the Unknown, that a lot of people are wanting things like straight away. They're living in a microwave culture where they want to cut out everything and just get from A to Z. And real life is not like that. There is a learning that comes through the journey of becoming the person that you're supposed to be. So a lot of people are being exposed on social media at the moment for pretending to be somebody that they're not. I don't really agree with the whole exposed culture because, one day we will have to answer to God and we're going to have to give account for our own lives. I think, far too much people want to expose other people, want to be focused on other people's lives. It's not really a healthy way to be, but these are the videos that are going on social media now. A lot of people exposing people because they have, fake luxury items, hiring houses, doing all these things. They don't actually own anything. So I'm going to quickly share from my notes here. Here's what I learned from the Bible verse, which is better to be a nobody and yet have a servant than pretend to be somebody and have no food. So what I learned is the ones that have real wealth are quiet about it. And I have seen this a lot as well with all the kind of people who are extremely wealthy. I do follow a couple of channels that talk about luxury, but not from a thing of flexing or showing off, hauls or anything, but they talk about luxury. And one of the things I learned from these kind of channels is that all the rich people that have money are not going around shopping in Gucci, shopping in Louis Vuitton or whatever. They wear clothes that you wouldn't associate with brands. They don't stand out. That's another thing I've learned from a channel that I follow called Venturing, one of my favourite channels to follow. When these two black guys go around luxury areas like Bond Street, Knightsbridge, Marylebone, and ask rich people how they made their first million. But why they're asking it is to inspire future entrepreneurs. A lot of the people that they speak to in those videos, you wouldn't pass them in the street and think that they had no money. The richest don't brag, they don't dress the loudest, they just get on with their life. They have the money and wealth to live the life they want, and they probably have servants, but you would never know because they don't come on social media to brag and show off what they have. So another thing I learned from this proverb is it's better not to be known and have than to be known and not have. Back to the point that I made earlier in this video about those that come on social media to flex, to show off their luxury goods, their lifestyle and that, but behind the scenes they don't have food in their fridge, they can't make their monthly rent payments, mortgage payments. Is it all worth it? I don't think it is worth it. You're known, but you don't have anything. That is one of the biggest deceptions, as I said, about social media. It's allowed people to give this kind of different view of the life that they're living. And the last thing I want to share with you is that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to show up as your authentic self on social media. I think a lot of things are changing actually in the world of social media when it's come to content. I have seen recently a rise in channels, whether on TikTok or on YouTube, that are of people showing their authentic lives, whether they are, struggling to make it through the next month or sharing their troubles. I mean, recently I've subscribed to a channel, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's this Japanese lady. She doesn't show her face, but she's living in London, and she shows how she is struggling with the cost of living over here. How, she tries to, make the most of her money, her struggles with being in a job she doesn't really like. She's living in a house with 4 or 5 other people, and her channel has really grown because I think people can relate to that, because realistically a lot of people are living this type of life where they are struggling, with the cost of living. They're struggling with life, they feel depressed about where they're at. And that is why her channel has grown, because a lot of people can resonate with where she is at. So that for me is a real example of why it is important to show up as yourself. It may not be popular with the popular crowd of people, but those who relate to your content and you're being your authentic self, those are the type of people that you need in your corner. But I hope this video has encouraged you, that it is better to be a nobody and yet to have a servant than to be somebody and have no food. As my gran would say, cut to your cloth. I've had to learn that a lot over the years, but it is so true. Let me know in the comments what you think about this proverb. Do you think it's true? Do you think that it's better to live this way, or do you think it's better to just pretend to be somebody you're not? And if you are doing that, what has been the result and benefit of doing that? So until the next video, take care.